As I drove to work, I thought about the conversation my wife started during dinner last night. It wasn't the first time, but it was happening more often, and I didn't understand why. She wanted to know how many women I had slept with before we became exclusive, and if I ever fantasized about them during lovemaking. My answer was a definite no. My wife and I had been married for 5 years. Despite some imperfections, our marriage was strong in trust, respect, love, lovemaking, and friendship, everything important in a relationship. I believe my wife felt the same, and we were living a great life. Good jobs, a nice house in a good area, and enough money and free time to enjoy vacations, good wine, food, and entertainment. My name is William Harrison, but my friends call me Billy. My wife is Molly. I'm a 5'11" inches blonde-haired, blue-eyed guy of Nordic descent, with some Irish temper that I learned to control in high school through numerous fights. I stayed in good shape by playing soccer and hockey year-round and lifting weights. I still jog, play in an adult soccer league, and enjoy pond hockey. My wife, Molly, naturally exuded lovemaking appeal with her sparkling eyes, flawless skin, and captivating smile. She had a knack for making people feel at ease, getting them to open up about anything while being a great listener and non-judgmental. Though her friendliness sometimes bordered on flirting, she never crossed the line into inappropriate behavior. Molly attracted attention with her bubbly personality and enviable body. 5'7" inches tall, blonde hair, blue eyes, and an amazing figure, especially her legs and firm hips. She stayed fit by going to the gym 4 to 5 nights a week, which was her main hobby outside of work. I often joked about my urge to grope her whenever she walked by, and she didn't mind. Molly's personality was perfect for me, although she had one flaw that sometimes led to emotional discussions. Once she made up her mind about something, she wouldn't change it. She believed she was right, especially in non-scientific matters, making her quite stubborn on certain issues. Changing her mind was nearly impossible once she decided on something. We married right after college, having exclusively dated for the last 2 years of school. Molly didn't have many physical partners before marriage, unlike me. During my senior year of high school and the first 2 years of college, I had numerous partners. At 19, one of my first partners was an older divorced woman who taught me a lot about pleasing a woman and making her peak. Thanks to her, I became skilled at ensuring my partner's pleasure before my own. I explained this to Molly when she asked how I knew how to please her so well. While grateful for my experience, she felt jealous about missing out on different partners and physical experiences. Professionally, I work as a mechanical engineer at Abbott Labs, designing and testing injection-molded components for medical devices like ventilators and pumps. I enjoy the challenging yet low-stress job, which also allows me time and money for hobbies. My latest project is restoring a 2005 Winnebago B-Class RV for week-long trips with Molly to places like Lake Superior's North Shore, the mountains, and the ocean. Molly was a CPA working for a top national accounting and consulting firm. Her job paid well, wasn't too stressful, and involved some travel. Occasionally, she accompanied junior CPAs on audits to ensure thoroughness and proper training. Recently, she'd been traveling with Andrew, a new employee starting his 3-year path to CPA qualification. Molly once mentioned how attractive and confident Andrew was after their first trip, but hadn't talked about him much since. As I spent more time finishing the RV, I grew more excited about our upcoming trips. However, I noticed Molly wasn't as enthusiastic and seemed less bubbly and open in her communication with me. Our lovemaking life was still great, and a few times in the past weeks, Molly came home late and passionately initiated lovemaking. The last time, her underwear were already wet, indicating she was incredibly turned on by something. After one of our intense post-work lovemaking sessions, I went down to start dinner while Molly jumped into the shower. I felt that things had been off lately and decided to talk to Molly about it over dinner. Meanwhile, Molly enjoyed the hot water, but also felt a pang of guilt. She had been going to lunches, happy hours, and recently dinner and dancing with her coworker, Andrew. Their conversations had become increasingly flirtatious, crossing the boundaries of what a married woman should allow. She was obsessed with this secret and the idea of lovemaking with another man. Molly was very attracted to Andrew and had decided last week to have lovemaking with him, believing it would help her move past the obsession and refocus on our marriage. She knew I had many partners before our relationship and believed I would never cheat on her, and she would never cheat on me. But she was determined to have a weekend with Andrew and was contemplating how to discuss it with me. She loved me deeply and didn't want to hurt me, but felt that if I loved her as much as she knew I did, I would understand and we could move past it, even becoming stronger. She hoped she wasn't fooling herself, but her mind was made up. When Molly came down to the kitchen, I had prepared shrimp salads, cornbread, and poured 2 glasses of wine. As she sat, I said, "Molly, we need to talk about something, and I'm not sure how to begin." "Billy, just say what's on your mind. We love each other and can talk about anything. I also need to talk to you, but you go first." "Oh, that sounds a bit ominous. How many marriages start their end with, 'we need to talk'?" "Don't be silly, Billy. This isn't bad. It's something that will be good for me and, ultimately, good for you too. I'm not sure how to say this, but something feels off with us. You haven't been as open and loving lately." "Billy, did you forget about the amazing lovemaking we just had?" "Molly, I'm not talking about that, but since you mention it, what made you so incredibly aroused that you almost tore my clothes off?" Molly's expression shifted to concern and guilt. "If you don't like me being that aroused for you, then maybe it's your problem, not mine." I noticed her defensive attitude. "Molly, I see your concern and guilt. Can't you see it? Please tell me what's really going on. Should I be worried?" Molly looked down, realizing she needed to steer the conversation better to have a constructive discussion. "Billy, I'm sorry. That came out wrong. I need to tell you what's going on, but please remember that I love you and our life together more than anything. What we have is precious to me." "Molly, now I'm really worried. Are you having an affair?" "Billy, how could you say that? You know I would never cheat on you. I respect you too much. But I need you to listen to me fully before reacting. When I'm done, we can discuss it." "Okay, I love you and want only you. I want to have kids and grow old with you. This might be hard to hear, but please listen. Do you remember Andrew, my coworker I traveled with? I've also been having lunch with him, going to happy hour, and even had dinner with him last week." "What the hell, Molly? You said you weren't having an affair, but now you're admitting to one." "I'm not having an affair and I haven't cheated on you. But you promised to listen. Maybe I crossed the line by not telling you. I don't love him, but we've been flirting and sharing things with physical innuendo. It felt innocent until he told me he wanted to make love to me. He's 7 years younger, fit and handsome, and I found myself infatuated with him." I jumped up in a rage. "God damn it, Molly, are you leaving me? Do you love him? Are you sure you haven't already screwed him? And this is a nonsense way to tell me?" Molly cringed at what she had said, and how none of this was coming out the way she meant it to Billy. "No, I haven't screwed him or anyone else. That's actually part of the problem. But please listen, I love only you. Andrew is just a kid. I could never fall in love with him. But you know that I have had only a few physical experiences before meeting you, and I feel like I have been deprived of some of the experiences you got to sample before we were a couple. I kind of feel like I was cheated out of sowing some wild oats before you and I fell in love. And now knowing that this young man that I am incredibly attracted to wants to screw me, I just can't seem to get it out of my mind. Today at work, Andrew and I were flirting back and forth, and that is partially the reason that I was so incredibly aroused when I got home and needed you to love me. I felt my pulse speed up and my skin flushed as I got an incredibly sad and shocked look on my face. This was not what Molly wanted to see. She quickly tried to erase the last statement she made by saying, "Billy, I didn't say that right. I love you. And making love to you is so much more than lovemaking. It is the most fulfilling thing I have ever felt. But I can't get this young man out of my system, and I have decided to have lovemaking with him and take this one-time opportunity to get my last physical experience with another man before you and I decide to get more serious about kids, careers, etc. I feel like I deserve this, and I'm asking you to let me have this. I have told you I would never cheat on you, and I respect you, and that is all true. And that is why I am asking for you to let me have this. But I guess I am also telling you I have made up my mind to do this." Molly was stunned to see me slump in my chair, tears filling my eyes and sliding down my cheek. This wasn't how she imagined it. It was supposed to be just lovemaking, nothing more. She had to convince me. "Billy, I love only you. I want to be married to you and grow old with you. This is just lovemaking, a one-time thing to get it out of my system. I swear I'll make it up to you for the rest of our lives if you let me have this. I will never cheat on you, and that's why I'm asking for this one-time gift as proof of your love for me." I jumped up from the table, hurt and anger in my eyes. "How could you equate my approval with proof of my love? That's nonsense. Here's what I'm hearing. You have already cheated on me. You have an emotional relationship with someone from work, shared closeness details, and spent time together. It's already cheating. Are you sure you haven't slept with him already? How will you make it up to me? By having more lovemaking, spending more time, or showering me with gifts? Aren't you supposed to do that now? Billy, stop. It's not an affair, and no, I haven't slept with him. But I did kiss him a few times after happy hours. Maybe it was the booze, but the thrill of someone different turned me on. This is a one-time physical experience, not an affair. I'll never love him, and I'll always love you. I feel I need this. If you loved me as much as I thought, you would give me this. It's only lovemaking, not love. It doesn't mean anything, but I can't get it out of my mind. I need this, and I promise I'll make it up to you. Molly, I can't believe you're asking me this. You've already disrespected me by starting an emotional and physical relationship with this guy. You've cheated by talking about lovemaking and kissing him. To me, that's as closeness as sleeping with him. I can't believe how naive I've been. I thought you loved me as much as I love you. I would never hurt you like this. Do you even understand how much you've damaged our relationship? I thought I could always trust you. But you've shattered that trust. Billy, stop being dramatic. I love only you. You can trust me, which is why I'm telling you this. It's just about me, not you. It's meaningless lovemaking. Fine, maybe I'll find some meaningless lovemaking too and see if you still believe that. I stood up, grabbed my keys, and headed for the door. Billy, grow up and come back. This isn't bad. It will make me better and allow me to give you more love and attention in the future. Screwing another man will make you better? You're delusional. How can you believe this? You say you love me, but expect me to accept your infidelity. I will never get over this. If you go through with it, we're done. Do you understand? I started to cry, ran to my car, and was backing out of the driveway when Molly called after me. Billy, no. Please come back. We can get past this. I'll make it good for you. All I could do was look at her with extreme sadness and pain as I drove off into the night. It will be good for me. What the hell? This is unbelievable. God, what do I do now? Molly sat, stunned and depressed, realizing she had messed up. Why doesn't he understand how much I need this and that it won't hurt our love and relationship? But deep down, she knew it already had. They had never fought like this before. Billy had never walked out or questioned her love. Now she questioned his. She didn't want to admit she had done significant damage, but she had already planned to meet Andrew for brunch on Saturday and spend the afternoon and night having lovemaking at the Hilton, returning Sunday night to dedicate herself to Billy. She believed Billy would get over it and their relationship would improve. After 2 hours with no word from Billy, she became really concerned. He was in a bad mental state when he left. She expected a call to make up, but with no contact, she tried calling him. He didn't pick up, so she left a voicemail. Billy, I'm sorry you took this so dramatically and got hurt. Please don't be hurt. I love only you and want to be with you forever. This is about me getting something I missed in my past. Please understand and come back to me. She got ready for bed, checked her phone again, and saw no response from Billy. She lay down and drifted into a fitful sleep. I cried as I drove to the Hilton in the next suburb and checked in for the night. I spent too much time in the hotel bar, getting drunk, and fell into bed. Later, I ignored calls and a voicemail from Molly, still in shock that she thought this was okay and could claim to love me while insisting on having lovemaking outside our marriage vows. I knew how stubborn she could be, but this wasn't something I could let go. This was a marriage-ending mistake, and I had to convince her of that before it was too late. Even if I stopped her this time, would she eventually do it behind my back? That would destroy any remaining trust and respect. If I let her do this, I would never feel the same about her again. And if I agreed, would she resent me for not standing up and demanding she be faithful? There were no good options, and I felt this was the beginning of the end. My only hope was to talk her out of it and get her to go to counseling with me to understand why she felt this need. Wednesday morning, Molly woke up, moved over to cuddle with Billy, and gasped when she realized he hadn't slept in their bed. She checked the guest bedroom and the couch, but found his car was gone. Extremely upset, she saw no texts or voicemails from him. She called, but he didn't answer. After she hung up, she got a text. Molly, I'll be home at 7 p.m. tonight. Please eat before I get there. We need to have a serious discussion about our future. Molly initially thought, God, Billy, quit being so dramatic. She was angry, but then started to worry. Billy seemed to be suggesting they might not have a future together, which was the last thing she wanted. She loved him and wanted to be with him. She had to make him understand that tonight. Molly went to work, and as soon as she sat down, Andrew approached her. Good morning, Hot. You look good enough to kiss and cuddle. Are we still on for Saturday? Did you tell your husband? Should I be worried? Andrew, let me handle Billy. He won't hurt anyone. He's not sold on the idea, but he'll be okay. Yes, we're still on for Saturday, and I'm excited about it. After he left, Molly texted Billy again. Billy, are you okay? Please know that I only love you and want you. Our future together will be better and better. An hour later, I replied sarcastically, yes, sure. Molly was mad at how immature I was being, but also sad at how much this was hurting me. She believed she could make it up to me with love and attention, thinking things would soon be as good as before, if not better. Wednesday, I called in sick and, after Molly left, went back to our house. I worked on the RV, mounting the solar panel, finishing the electrical and Wi-Fi connections, getting a new toilet cassette, and filling the water tanks. I planned to finish the cabinetry on Thursday, making it road-ready. The work distracted me from my pain. With 2 hours until Molly's return, I researched divorce, finances, and counselors, forming a preliminary plan for any outcome. Then I made a list of my belongings and headed to the bank. At the bank, I canceled our joint credit card and opened one in my name. I also canceled our joint checking account and opened a new one for myself. I prepaid the mortgage for 2 months using our joint account, then split the remaining balance, with 50% going to her and 50% to my savings. Afterward, I went to a pub for a craft beer and burger, preparing for our discussion at home. Molly came home around 6 p.m. and saw I wasn't there. Unsure if I'd been home, she made a sandwich and thought about how to have a more positive discussion. When I arrived, she ran up, kissed me, and hugged me tightly. Billy, don't ever leave like that without letting me know you're okay. I know you're hurting, but I was so worried. I love you, only you. We are solid and always will be. So you knew I was hurting, and you love only me? I wish that were true, Molly, but I doubt it now. A week ago, I wouldn't believe you could ask for what you want. An affair outside our marriage. It's inconceivable to me that you claim to love me and then ask for permission to commit infidelity. Billy, don't you dare say I don't love you. It's not cheating if you approve, and it's only lovemaking just one time. Stop being so dramatic and immature, Molly. You want to talk about drama? I'm looking at the woman I loved, trying to convince me that she loves me, while asking to have lovemaking with another man for a weekend and then go back to how we were. That will never happen. How would you feel if I slept with someone else and told you it was just lovemaking? That's not fair, and you know it. Billy, you've had dozens of women and all kinds of experiences. I didn't have that chance. If you went out and had lovemaking with someone, I would kick you out and not know if I could forgive you. Why should it be different for me? Why shouldn't I kick you out? Why do you think I can forgive you? Molly, teary-eyed, said, Billy, I couldn't live without you. I love you and want to be with you. Nonsense, Molly. You wouldn't be proposing this if you meant it. Have you already agreed to this? Did you talk to him today? Yes, I talked to him. This Saturday, he's picking me up and I'll be back Sunday evening. On Monday, I'll be the hottest, most loving wife you could hope for. You already were that. But if you go through with this, you never will be again. Molly gasped, recoiled to the kitchen, and sat down, pleading with her voice and eyes. Billy, please know I love you so much. Don't let this hurt our marriage. You are my husband, my lover, my best friend, the father of our future children. You are my everything. Molly, if that were true, you wouldn't consider doing this on Saturday. This conversation is going nowhere. If you go through with this, we're done. I'll be back Friday night. Let's spend that night together. Billy, don't walk out on me again. We need to get through this, please. Friday night. I'll bring dinner around 7 p.m. What time is Andrew picking you up Saturday? I'll tell him 11 a.m., but you don't have to leave. I want you to meet him. Jesus, Molly, if I see him, I'll kick the crap out of him. Why would I want to meet the guy who's trying to destroy our marriage? Think hard about this before Friday. Billy, no, wait. Please don't leave like this. Tell me you're okay, that this won't hurt us. Molly, I'll never be okay with you having lovemaking with anyone but me. If you want to sleep with others, get a divorce. Your request today has already hurt us more than you realize. If you cancel this and promise to go to counseling with me, maybe we'll be okay. If not, we're finished. Tell me your answer Friday night and think hard about it. Billy, don't give me ultimatums and don't walk out. We will be all right, even better after this. Yeah, right. Pigs are flying. Unbelievable, I said sarcastically as I walked out the door and turned off the voice recorder. I headed back to the Hilton, booking a room for Wednesday and Thursday night. I called my boss and explained I had a family emergency, needing the rest of the week off. He reluctantly agreed without asking for details. Molly slumped over the table after I left. How could he be so stubborn, she thought. She was sure I would never leave her, but wondered if we had already damaged our relationship beyond repair. If so, would going ahead with her plan make it worse? She was obsessed with the idea of being with Andrew and decided to compromise by agreeing to marriage counseling while still seeing Andrew for the weekend. She dragged herself to bed, her thoughts racing. Billy was her world, and she realized the pain and anger this was causing both of us. Did she really need this? But she felt trapped, having already committed to it. She believed Billy's arguments were unreasonable, thinking he had dozens of women to look back on during restless times. She had never had that. This was just Zex one time, just for her. He needed to get over himself in this situation. On Thursday, after Molly left for work, I returned home and started moving my belongings into the RV, making sure to take things Molly wouldn't miss. I also went to the thrift store to donate clothes I never wore. I took my tools, sports equipment, and recreational items to my best friend Tom's house, along with a couple of pen and ink drawings my uncle had done that I knew Tom would appreciate. We sat down for a beer, and I explained my situation. Tom looked at me incredulously and said, "Billy, you've got to be kidding. No way would Molly do that to you." "Are you sure about this? Maybe something is wrong with her." "Crap, I'm not sure of anything. My whole world has been turned upside down in a week, and it's like Molly's a different person. I don't get it. The love I have for her is under attack and weakens with every excuse she makes for why this will be good for our marriage. She's gone crazy. Can't you forgive and forget? Get some counseling and move on?" "Hell no. I've told her we can do that if she doesn't sleep with the guy. But if she does, I don't see any way back. I've tried talking her out of it. Now I'm going to see if I can give her so many peeks and such great love-making Friday night that she'll listen to reason. It's my last chance." "Good luck, man. Let me know if I can do anything to help. I mean, not with the peaks, but to ease your pain. I hate to see you guys hurting. You were my role model for a strong, healthy marriage." "Well, I guess both our illusions have been shattered. I never saw this coming. I'm doing everything I can not to go strike the living crap out of the guy." "Well, if it comes to that, let me know. I'll help with the payback." "Okay, I'll think about it. Take care, bud. I'm getting a new phone and number, and I'll text it to you. Later, brother. Keep calm and hang in there." I went to Verizon, got a new phone and number, and changed our current plan to Molly's name only. Then I took the RV for a test run and was pleased with the results. I finished the cabinetry, got new license tags and insurance, and was ready to go. I cleared my personal emails and documents from our home computer, essentially erasing my past life. I composed an email to family, friends, and coworkers explaining Molly's actions and my response. If I couldn't talk her out of this, I would explain she chose to have an affair, despite my objections, and knowing it would end our marriage. I prayed I wouldn't have to send it, but I wanted everyone to understand what happened. I also attached the voice recording from the other evening. On Friday, I consulted a divorce lawyer who said that with our comparable incomes and no kids, it would be a 50-50th split of assets. The only uncertainty was whether she would get half of my 401k, which had over $200,000. She had a defined pension plan, complicating the division. I decided I would withdraw the money, taking a 40% tax hit, rather than lose half to a cheating wife. I planned to wait until after the weekend, hoping to persuade Molly to reconsider. As Friday approached, I felt our future and my love for her were in her hands, and I prayed she would make the right choice. I bought shrimp, swordfish, and a Caesar salad, started the grill, put white wine on ice, mixed gin and tonics, and waited for Molly to come home. She was excited to see me cooking. "Thank God you came home, Billy. I missed you so much. Promise me you won't leave like that again. You love me. I love you. We need to be together." I took her into my arms and gave her a long, tender kiss. "Molly, why don't you take a shower and put on something hot? Bring a G&T with you. When you come back down, I'll grill the food and we'll enjoy dinner. It might be our last, but tonight, let's celebrate our marriage." "Billy, stop talking like that. You're upsetting me by questioning our marriage. I'm getting annoyed. I've told you repeatedly that I love only you. This isn't about you. It's something I need to get out of my system." "Molly, we've discussed this enough. Let's drop it for now. Enjoy your G&T, shower, and we can have a nice dinner and a pleasant evening." "Okay, but stay with me tonight. Don't leave me worrying. I'll be back in something that shows you how much I appreciate you." Molly went upstairs to shower. When she came back down, I gasped. She wore a French maid outfit with a little white cap, a tight white blouse showing her assets and midriff, black thigh-high silk stockings, a short skirt, and 4-inch heels. My God, Molly, you look incredibly hot.
I want you to see a preview of the next few weeks. I bought other outfits you'll love just as much. Now let's grill the food. I'm hungry, but I really want to get to dessert. She winked.
We hurried through dinner, finishing the G&Ts and most of the first bottle of wine. When I couldn't wait any longer, I lifted her into my arms, carried her upstairs, and laid her on the bed. She reached for my belt and zipper, but I stopped her. Tonight is for you, Molly. I'm going to worship your body and make this lovemaking unforgettable, so you understand how good we are together and why we should belong only to each other. We do belong to each other, honey, and that will never change. Please, just make love to me tonight. Let's move past the stress of the last few days and cement our love. We made love that night. When we were done, she was completely satisfied and soon drifted off to sleep. Molly woke up at 8:30 a.m., knowing it was time to get ready. Andrew would pick her up at 11 o'clock. She felt a mix of guilt, anxiety, and lust. After last night's lovemaking, she briefly wondered what she was doing. How could anything be better? But she felt committed and decided to follow through. She heard me in the kitchen and smelled bacon, eggs, and coffee. Putting on her robe, she came down to see me. Billy, last night was incredible. That's what I see in our future. I love you so much and thank you. I didn't respond, but finished the eggs and asked if she wanted any. I'd better not eat now, Billy. Thanks. Andrew and I are going out for brunch at 11 o'clock. I need to shower and get ready. Please stay so we can hug and kiss goodbye. Molly, I won't beg you anymore. I'll just ask one last time. Are you sure you want to have lovemaking with a man who isn't your husband? Billy, stop. It's just one-time lovemaking. It changes nothing about my love for you. I looked at her with pain and sorrow and shook my head. I won't leave until I tell you goodbye. Molly flinched at my words, sensing a finality that made her shudder. Billy, I love you and this will be okay, you'll see. I just need to get this out of my system. We'll be stronger in the future. Yeah, right, Molly. It's incredibly sad you believe that. She flushed, tears forming as she ran to the bathroom. Why couldn't he just get past this? Let her have this fling and they could move on with her making it up to him for this gift. My God, she thought. This has changed Billy. I'll have to work hard to ease his pain. He loves me so much and always gives me what I need. This will be no different. She showered, applied makeup, and wore a hot but tasteful dress, thigh-high stockings and heels. When she came down with her weekend bag at 10:30, it felt like a knife in my heart seeing her dressed for another man. Billy, you're okay, right? You know I love you, don't you? And you love me. Didn't last night show how we can get past this and how great our life will be? Molly, I wanted last night to be special for us. It was a celebration of our marriage, and I wanted it to be a memory we could carry forever. Billy, don't say our last night together. That's cruel. You're making me feel guilty for one meaningless weekend of lovemaking I need to get out of my system. Of course, we'll be together and better than ever. She moved to kiss and hug me, but I turned away. Molly, our night is over. You chose a weekend of meaningless lovemaking over your husband. These kisses don't matter anymore. Billy, stop it. It's not like that. This is one and done, and I deserve it. You have history with dozens of women to fantasize about, and I have nothing. I need this to get it out of my system. It isn't love, and doesn't affect our relationship or my love for you. Yes, Molly, this is one and done. Before she could respond, a car honked outside. Billy, stop the drama. I'll be back Sunday night, and you'll still be my only love and life partner. The horn honked again, and Molly asked, Should I introduce Andrew so you see he's just a kid I'm attracted to, not a threat? I looked at her with pain and anger and said calmly, Don't let him in or I'll break his nose, jaw, and crush him. I'll enjoy his screams. Molly shrunk back, shocked by my anger. Please, Billy, let me have this one and done, and I'll be back to love you forever. She picked up her bag, walked to the door, and turned to smile. But seeing my pain, she blew a kiss and said, Billy, Sunday night and beyond, I'll be the best wife and partner. I love you. Goodbye, Molly. I waved. She stood there briefly, contemplating something before walking out the door. I sat down in a kitchen chair and cried, feeling I had done everything possible to prevent this marriage-ending affair. Molly seemed to be in her own world, justifying that this was necessary for her and beneficial for us. After half an hour of crying, I got up and began moving my belongings to the RV. In the bedroom, I noticed Molly had left her wedding rings in a bowl on her dresser. I put them in my pocket as my sorrow turned to growing anger. 2 hours later, I had packed all my important items. The paintings, sketches, and sculptures my uncle left me were carefully wrapped, boxed, and placed under the RV's queen-size bed. My clothes didn't all fit, so I quickly sorted through them and threw the rejects in the garage trash. Walking around the house with anger and pain seething, I saw our wedding album with 40 photos from our wedding 5 years ago. What once brought me joy and peace now intensified my pain and anger. I ran to the garage, grabbed a box cutter, and slashed an X through several of the photos, cutting out the triangle portion with our faces and tossing them into the fireplace. I went to the desk, wrote my final letter to Molly, tears falling on the paper. I placed the letter and a check for her half of our joint accounts into an envelope and wrote her name on it. I set the photo album and the letter on the kitchen table, removed my wedding ring, and placed it on top. I scheduled an email to all our friends, relatives, and contacts for Monday at 9 a.m., knowing I'd be long gone by then. I walked out, got into my RV, and drove away from my old life. It was now mid-Saturday afternoon, and Molly and Andrew had enjoyed brunch and checked into the hotel he booked for the weekend. They undressed slowly, with Molly feeling excited at seeing another man unclothed and aroused. He led her to the bed, kissed her a few times, and then tried to go straight to lovemaking. She told him, "Relax, Andrew. Take your time. We have all day today and tomorrow to enjoy this. How about you go down on me and get me warmed up?" "Molly, I don't do that and find it kind of disgusting. Here, let me get you warmed up." He then jammed his fingers into her for a few minutes. Though it wasn't pleasant or hot to her, he quickly moved to the missionary position. He grunted through about 2 minutes and yelled, "I'm going to climax. Do it with me, Molly." With that, he was done. He rolled off and laid back on the bed. Molly lay there in disbelief. She wasn't even close to climaxing and was barely aroused. Andrew jumped up and ran to the bathroom, saying he needed to clean himself up and would bring her a washcloth. She turned away from the bathroom, wondering what she was doing and what she had done to cause Billy so much pain for something that was turning out to be more meaningless than she thought. She grabbed her cell phone from the bedside table and quickly composed a text to Billy. "Billy, my love, please know that I love only you. Please tell me that you are okay and that you love me too. I can't wait until I see you again." Andrew came back, and being young, he was ready to go again. They had lovemaking 3 times that afternoon, and although she finally climaxed the 3rd time, it was her own effort. They got up, dressed, and went out to dinner. Dinner was awkward, with small talk and no real connection, either physically or mentally, between them. The magic she thought she felt before was gone. They danced after dinner, but it felt like dancing with her brother or uncle. The physical attraction she convinced herself was strong had disappeared. Although Andrew wanted to return to the room quickly, she kept ordering drinks, putting him off until they were both very drunk and had trouble getting back to the room. When they got there, she quickly stripped off her clothes, collapsed onto the bed, turned away from Andrew, and went to sleep. In the morning, she woke up with a hangover and could feel Andrew snoring beside her. She decided the damage was already done, so she should give it one more try to see if she could have any memorable lovemaking with the young man. She tried to give Andrew a morning BJ, determined to turn him on enough to do something exciting in bed. Andrew woke up, enjoying it, and without warning, moving up to him, she said, "How did you like that, baby?" She moved in to kiss him, and he said, "Oh, gross, I'm not kissing that mouth. Can you please clean up, brush, and then come back to bed?" She grabbed her phone in disgust, went into the bathroom, and locked the door. She got in the shower, washed herself as if trying to wash off a plague, dried off, and sat down on the toilet. She checked her phone and saw that Billy had not responded to her texts. She tried calling him, but it went straight to voicemail. She sent him another text. "Billy, I love you. Are you okay? Please tell me you're okay, and we can get past this. This has turned into a meaningless and miserable mistake, and I know I want only you forever. I'll be home as soon as I can to hug you and tell you how much I love you. Please let me know you are okay." She convinced Andrew to go down for breakfast, and as they were finishing, she said, "Andrew, this was a mistake for me. I only love my husband, and this weekend with you has shown me that no one can compare with him. I'm going to go up to the room, pack my bag, and leave now. I'll get a cab. I don't want to see you again for lunch, happy hour, or dinner, and I'd appreciate it if we could avoid each other at work. I'm sorry, but this was just a major mistake." "Well, screw you, witch. You're the one who wanted this so badly and talked me into it. Go ahead and run back to your husband and try to forget how great the lovemaking with me was. There are plenty of women better looking than you who would love to be with me."
Andrew, you're just a boy, and you don't have a clue how to please a woman. Get out of your delusion." With that, she walked up to the room, packed her things, and left. Molly grabbed a cab and got home around 3 p.m. on Sunday. The first thing she noticed was that the big RV that had taken up half of her driveway was gone. Wow, I guess Billy actually finished that thing, and he must have decided to go for a test drive or an overnight trip. I wish I could have been here for that maiden voyage, and I'm surprised and bummed out that he didn't wait for me. As she entered the house, she sensed that something was different. The first physical change she noticed was that the oil painting of the waves crashing onto Moonlight Bay in Encinitas that Billy's uncle had painted was no longer hanging above the fireplace. She looked around and saw that many of his other drawings and paintings were gone, as were the sculptures of the bison his uncle had made that sat on the mantel. "Oh no, Billy! What have you done? I'm home!" She screamed into the house, even though she knew no one was there to hear it. She pulled out her phone and saw that Billy still hadn't responded to any of her texts. She called his phone, and when the Verizon voice immediately responded, "This cell phone number is no longer in service," she let out a scream and sank to the floor. "Oh God, no! What have I done? Oh, Billy! How could you do this? How could you leave me like this?" She got up, trying to slow the stream of tears and gasps, and moved as quickly as she could to the kitchen. She fell to her knees again when she saw Billy's wedding ring on top of a letter to her lying on their wedding album. She sank into a chair, picked up the ring, and stared at it, unable to believe what was happening and what it all meant. She ripped open the letter and started to wail as she tried to read it through. "Molly, as you can guess, this is my final goodbye. Maybe I'm a coward, but I couldn't face you after you walked away from me and our marriage. I found your wedding rings in the bowl on your dresser, which perfectly symbolized how you abandoned our marriage. You knew that wearing the rings would mean admitting you were cheating, ruining your idea of a free pass for the weekend. I think you believed without a doubt that you could sleep with someone else and return to me, thinking our marriage would remain unchanged. I don't know how you could think it was okay to break our vows, humiliate and disrespect me, and consider it just a harmless weekend fling. But the reality is, it meant everything. It showed me that your love for me, if it existed, was nowhere near my love for you. It was far from what I deserved and what I naively believed I had. You hurt me more than anyone ever has. You took my love, pulled it out of my chest and stomped on it. You cheated the moment you started flirting with your lover. You sealed it with kisses at happy hours and dinners, thinking it was okay. And you delivered the final blow by assuming I would be fine with you having an affair. How could you think you deserved it and that if I loved you, I would accept it? I did everything to pull you back, but you ignored me. I told you our love, marriage, and friendship could never be the same, but you called me immature and dramatic. I suggested counseling to save our marriage if you stopped the fling before it happened, but you dismissed me. I warned that our last night of lovemaking would be the last time we were together if you went through with the affair, but you ignored me, assuming I would be there for you no matter what. I don't understand how you could think I would be okay with this. It's like you didn't know me at all, and evidently, I didn't know you because I trusted you and never thought you could destroy me like this. I could have physically stopped you, but I knew that would lead to resentment and a slow end of the marriage. You were kidding yourself thinking it was a one-time thing. If the lovemaking was bad, you would seek another fling to get it out of your system. If it was good, you would crave it again. You likely wouldn't have told me about future infidelities after seeing what we are going through now. But I knew they would come. I guess we'll never know. I can't be in a relationship without trust, and mine and you is completely broken. I couldn't love you again, wondering if you were thinking of someone else. When you walked out the door, you took all the love, respect, trust, and friendship you claimed to have for me and washed it away. I can't forgive you, trust you again, or even be friends. I have to cut you out of my life just like you cut my love out of my chest. A few practical things. I have split our assets and paid the mortgage for the next 2 months. Your 50% of our joint accounts is enclosed in this envelope. Our Verizon joint account is canceled as of Monday. You'll need your own. I've canceled our insurance and joint credit cards. I've taken my name off the mortgage and written a quitclaim deed to you. The house is yours to sell or live in. I don't care. It's not my home anymore, and I'll never be back. I sold my car and left in the RV. Sometime down the road, I will pawn your wedding rings for gas money so they'll serve some purpose. In my anger and pain, I did a couple of things. I took a box cutter to the wedding album, and you'll find some pieces in the fireplace. Go ahead and burn them. It's a fitting cremation of our marriage.
I've also pinned an email to our friends, relatives, coworkers, and contacts about your decision to cheat and my decision to leave. You have a day or two to prepare your story, but maybe you can start by taking responsibility. The good news for you is you now have my permission to sleep with whoever you want. It would be nice if you didn't pick married men since you've already ruined enough lives. But go ahead and find whatever you were looking for that made you throw us away. You can divorce me, sell the house, move, do whatever you want. I don't care, and I leave that to you. Should I find a woman who truly loves me, then I'll worry about a divorce. I quit my job, cashed out my $401K, and my only plan now is to never see you again, and to take a left out of the driveway. Other than that, I'll forge a new life and hope to leave your memory behind. Goodbye, Billy. Molly had to read the letter several times to truly believe it was happening. She could see Billy's tear stains on the sheets as he wrote it. She got up, saw the damage to the wedding album, and barely made it to the sink before throwing up and nearly blacking out. My God, what have I done? How could I have been so self-centered and stupid? How could I destroy the only man I'll ever really love? I had it all, and gave it up for the worst, most pathetic lovemaking, and an a-hole who just wanted to get in my pants and didn't know what to do when he did. Molly crawled to the couch in the living room, curled up into the fetal position, and cried herself to sleep. She couldn't believe she had been so stubborn and fixated on her lust for a new lovemaking partner that she ignored all of Billy's warnings and ultimatums. She had destroyed her life in a matter of weeks, and now knew she would pay the price for her betrayal forever. Billy drove to the banks of the Mississippi and decided to follow it from Minneapolis-St. Paul down to New Orleans. Once there, he would decide whether to turn left or right. The long driving hours were filled with thoughts of Molly and whether he was doing the right thing, but he decided not to make any decisions for weeks. He couldn't even envision being friends with her, much less partners. However, if his anger subsided and it became more important to be with her than without her, he might open a dialogue, but he gave it less than a 25% chance of happening, and it would be a long road back. Molly had to endure the humiliation and pain of explaining her foolishness and reasoning for the fling to her parents, relatives, and friends. She could tell none of them would understand her reasoning or take her side. She now couldn't understand her reasoning either, much less explain it. She had to admit how horribly she misled herself into thinking the fling wouldn't affect them. She had to explain how she didn't realize until now how it would destroy her marriage and her only love. She had to take responsibility for being incredibly self-centered and stupid about the importance of her fidelity to both Billy and herself. She saw how she had lost her family and friends' respect, and how they began to distance themselves from her. Molly called Billy's best friend, Tom Weekly, pleading for Billy's location, his phone number, or any information about him. She begged Tom to tell Billy that she loved him, had finally understood and taken responsibility for cheating, and would do anything to get him to talk to her again. Tell him I love him. I miss him. I messed up badly and truly understand that now. I'll do anything to fix this if he gives me a chance. I'll never divorce him. I'm committed to our marriage vows and won't date or have any male relationships while we're still married. She waited every week, hoping for a call or response, but it never came. She stopped going out with anyone, led a lonely life at work and home, and prayed that something would eventually bring Billy back to her. She remained faithful to their marriage, waiting for him. About a month after Molly's affair, Andrew's doorbell rang. When he answered, a man in a ski mask with a police baton quickly shot him twice in the head and neck until he collapsed, then kicked him several times in the lap. As Andrew lay in pain, the attacker told him to never mess with married women, and then walked away. As time passed, both Molly and Billy thought about what happened, and neither could understand how she thought it would be okay. 3 years later, Molly was still waiting for Billy, but he never returned. One morning, as Molly was about to leave for work, a man approached and asked her name. Once Molly confirmed, he handed her an envelope. "You have been served." Molly did not cry or react. She just stood there. She let out a small smile and said, "All the best, Billy. I hope you have a wonderful life."